Welcome back, guys, to Fog Racing for another sad edition of That Time When, as we travel back 11 years to 2014. Obviously, back in this period of F1, Suzuka was more known for being around September, October time. Now in Formula One, they've moved it to April time, and of course, it is the weekend of the 2025 Japanese Grand Prix. And sadly, with that, we're going to have to go back to the 2014 Grand Prix as we are revisiting a race, a tragic race, the last Formula One race in which a driver sadly perished. Now, of course, Jules Bianchi didn't actually die during the Grand Prix, but he did suffer an injury that essentially resulted in his death later on in 2015 on the 18th of July. But essentially, Jules Bianchi, of course, is a French Formula One driver. He tragically died months after suffering severe head injuries in a crash in the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix, where his car collided with a recovery vehicle during a rain-affected race. The crane was recovering Adrian Sutil's Sauber, which crashed out at the same spot. Bianchi didn't slow down sufficiently enough, lost the car and hit the recovery vehicle, ultimately damaging his head with severe head injuries and ending in a coma for 9 months until his untimely passing in July 2015. So, of course, it's a tragic state of affairs for Jules Bianchi. In terms of the Grand Prix, well, there is a wee bit of controversy around it where Bernie Ecclestone, he did want to start the race early because of the typhoon that was coming in, but then ultimately, went against it. And I know we live in a world where safety is first, right? And I get it. Drivers shouldn't be absolutely pedal to the metal like it was in the 70s and killing each other, right? But at the same time, right, they are paid a hell of a lot of money. And when we see races end like prematurely or start under whatever or red flags due to rain, it does annoy a lot of us. And I think now with the introduction of the Halo safety device, we are probably going to get better racing under more damaging conditions because what I believe if Bianchi was actually wearing a halo he would have survived. Now it says Bianchi collided with the left rear wheel of the tractor crane which caused extensive damage to his car. Its roll bar was destroyed as it slid underneath. The impact briefly jolted the tractor cane off the ground, causing Sutil's car suspended in the air to fall to the ground. Marshals moved away from the scene to avoid being struck by Bianchi's Marussia. Calculations in July 2020 or 2015 indicated a peak of 254 G. That's a lot of G-force. And data from the FIA's World Accident Database, which sources information from racing incidents worldwide, indicates Bianchi's impact occurred 2.61 seconds after a loss of control at a speed of 76 miles an hour and an angle of 55 degrees. Bianchi was reported unconscious after not responding to a team radio call on Marshals. Marshals reported the incident and the safety and medical cars were dispatched. Bianchi was extricated from his vehicle and treated at the crash site before being taken by ambulance to the circuit's medical centre. Transport by helicopter was impossible due to the weather, so Bianchi was taken by ambulance with a police escort to Mai Prefectural General Medical Centre in Yukachi, about 15 kilometres from the track. End of quote. And I mean, obviously, yeah, the weather was too bad, so helicopter couldn't fly. I don't believe that actually had an effect on Bianchi himself, but it just shows you. I knew it wasn't an insane speed he went in, but it just shows you 76 miles an hour, which, I mean, in F1 terms, folks, it's absolutely nothing. 76 mile an hour crash in F1 terms is nothing. It's like the difference is here is that he hit a tractor crane. That is the difference, and we did see during the Australian Grand Prix earlier this season, like one of them on track while one of them was driving, which is you do not like to see. But yeah, tragic incident, and it was avoidable, but it's just F1, you know what I mean? They try and want to put on a show, and I think since this incident they have just thrown out like more safety cars and things like that when things are on the track and red flags. I think that is the correct call. But sadly, this cost Bianchi his life, and the result is forgotten about what happened at this Grand Prix. But regardless, let's talk about the result. Hamilton led home for Rosberg, Vettel, Ricciardo, Button, Bottas, Massa, Hulkenberg, John-Eric Fern and Sergio Perez was your top 10. Retirements was Fernando Alonso, Adrian Sutil and sadly of course Jules Bianchi, with the last ever incident in Formula 1 to cost a driver his life. As you can see, fatal accident. So yeah, hopefully we never have to see this again in Formula 1, but there's no guarantees in life, folks. That is the one absolute. So until next time, peace.